Welcome to Tradespoon and Yellow Tunnel. My name is Pell. I'm CEO and founder of both companies, and today we're going to have a live trading room open to trade stock and options using our technology. I'll mark Cherry Blossom, Hadriri Muffin. Thank you for joining. Keith is on vacation, so I'm doing Wednesday morning now. Brief bio for those of you who are new. Disclosures are very important. Please read them. Trading stock and options involve risk, not suitable for everyone. If this is the first time you see the screen, I encourage you to visit optionscreen.com to understand the risk and suitability associated with trading stock or options, and you can pause the screen to read the remaining of the disclosures. All right, trading psychology is important, right? I encourage you to have a trading plan and trading journal and go through that with specific rules, especially in terms of risk management. In your notes here, you can see the main one is position size, right, and drawdown. So 4 active positions at a time, 2.5% account value per position. That is proposed risk. I mean, obviously, I can have more positions because I'm managing multiple services. I have maybe bigger accounts, more experience, so that's fine. But if you start, I would say 4 active positions, 2.5% account value per position. You can look at the volatility guide, volatility rules video. All of that is written on Tradespoon and also Yellow Tunnel. Under all of our Yellow Tunnel services. So four positions is relatively, straightforward. I mean, obviously, from psychology point of view, it's not that straightforward because, you turn on CNBC and people want to buy AI stocks, Palantir, super microcomputers, quantum computers, Bitcoin, and Goldman Sachs, and the list goes on and goes on. So then you decide, well, which 4? We want to be diversified, right? You want to be diversified, and you want to find. I think right now it's active traders market. Active trade management will outperform passive management. And you look for leaders like momentum stocks, right? It doesn't have to be a high beta stocks, I mean that's the risky, but just high momentum stocks, right? If you see stock like JP Morgan or QQQ, right? Any QQQ stocks looks like average QQQ stock. If the chart looks like this, then okay, it's a momentum stock. Potentially it will continue going higher. And 2.5%, I mean, you look at the yield is down, as Powell is testifying, that's good. You look at spiders. So stock forecast toolbox basically says negative, right? We're reaching like a key point, the all-time high. It was in pennies of all-time high. I mean, actually there, right? 610, I think was the highest, somewhere in there. So it needs a breakout, right? I don't know, QQQ probably the same thing, or maybe it already adjusted, let's see. Yeah, QQQ, same thing. So day one, that doesn't mean it's a broken trend, right? Because we were kind of consolidating downtrend, and we were, medium term, the question is, did we resolve to the upside? So model basically trends on the data and says 1 day it doesn't set the trend, maybe even 2 days, but if 3 days we're above all-time high, right? If QQQ already made new high or marginal new high, let's say today, we close at 542, right? Pre-market we're higher. Tomorrow we close at 542, that means it's cleared, and then the model will adjust to positive trend. So most people, I think, are bullish right now, right? And basically saying, well, let's do QQQ, we always do spiders. Let's look at the gamma. Do a little different this time. Okay, so flip point is 530. So it looks like anything above 530 is pretty well supported. Put wall is around 520, I would assume. Yeah, about 500. Largest gamma 500, but the large gamma is 520. So 520 and the flip point is 530. Okay. So I agree with that assessment. This is probably support number 1. right? If it's a false breakout, I would put it as support number 1, and then you have longer term consolidation at 520, right? And then if that doesn't hold, 500. So obviously, if you're a long-term trader, you would say, okay, 500 is my stop loss. If you're thinking about, a couple of days, so a couple of weeks, then I would use 520, right? And if you're doing day trading, the gap, right? As long as it's above the gap or open price, some people like open price, some people like gap, either or. So let's do this. Let's do 10 points. So support number 1, let's do 530. I would consider exiting, maybe less, maybe 15 points. 15 points. 15 points for support number 1. If you're a day trader, longer term, I would use 20 points, 25 points. And then 15, 25, and here's 40 points. 40. And QQQ is much more liquid. I mean, higher beta than spiders, like usually. And same thing, it doesn't matter if you're trading QQQ spiders, the rule stays the same. On a $10,000 account, 2.5% is $250. You just need to buy less shares because it's more volatile. So then you do 15 shares if you're doing day trading. I mean, 3% on QQQ is probably exaggerated, so maybe 10 shares if you're doing day trading, maybe 2% stop loss. 25, then you do 10 shares. 10 shares of 542, you're committing half of your capital into this trade, so that's very aggressive. And then 500 is 40 shares, that's probably a little bit less aggressive. So 40 times 2 is 6 shares. 6. And even 6 times 500, that's $3,000. So 30% of your capital you put in one position, which is a very aggressive, right? It's very aggressive. So that would be my thought process on the market. Again, SPX is probably the biggest positioning, right? So kind of switching to SPX for overall market behavior. 598, I think 5,900 is your flip point. I think this is, but okay, somewhere between 5,900 and 6,000 is your flip point, right? The put wall is still 6,000, right? So what used to be an overhead resistance, day 1, day 2 is becoming support, right? That's where all the gamma. And it's trying to break through 6,100, it's already there. If it breaks through 6,100, right? Much bigger position is 6,200 in gamma. So if it's able to break through 6,100, then it's going to 6,200, right? If day 1, day 2, we're above 6,100, we're gonna make new highs, right? We're gonna make new highs. I mean, again, seasonality, June is a strong month. July, in the past couple of years, right? And also in 2018, June, July were strong months. Everybody's going into the earnings. July 4th, everybody's in good mood. There's not a lot of liquidity too. And assuming no negative news, the market grinds higher, right? But I would start thinking about raising cash, right? Taking these opportunities to raise cash, because even though I do think the market is going to make new highs, I think the clock is ticking and the air is getting thin on the upside. Markets are overbought. Doesn't matter what models you're going to use, they are overbought. Right, but stocks can be overbought for a long period of time, right? We don't know for how long. Usually it's some kind of negative catalyst. John is not eating keyboard. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, so that's my view on the market. That's how I would approach risk management. If you're John, then you might have a little bit more than 4 positions. But that's in general is the idea. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is up. For now, it's doing a catch-up trade. Bitcoin was a leader. Now it's kind of a lagger, which is interesting. Semiconductors are leading, which is kind of a classical, this is what we've seen in the past couple of years. And we're making new highs. Yeah, SMH new highs, right? Oh, no, sorry. Forgot. Not yet. Because it peaked earlier than the market, right? SMH led the market to the downside because it peaked in July, where market peaked in January. But now we're approaching all-time high, right? And semis are leading the market, risk on, right? Bitcoin is strong, semiconductors leading the market, risk on. It's a risk on trade. Small caps are underperformance, spiders are kind of flat, silver and gold is down, Europe pulled back, copper slightly down. So today risk on high beta, or Google is up, Bitcoin is up, I assume Nvidia is up, Magnificent Seven are all outperforming. All right, what else? Oil continues to underperform after the ceasefire in Middle East, so that's good for everybody. Technology are still up today, but the rest of the equal weight S&P looks like under pressure. Equal weighted S&P under pressure. So tech is leading the market across the board. Dollar is still weak. A lot of people think it's going to go down 10%. Okay, maybe. Yeah, so Magnificent Seven leading, Google up, Apple up, Microsoft up, Nvidia is up. Momentum stock is still high, so General Electric grinds slowly higher, made new highs. Need to make a decision about General Electric. See what is it trading at. So I do have a spread. This is the only July spread. Actually 390. Let's see. Because my cost basis, I added to the position. So 340. So 340. The 340 is actually profitable now. I can close it for 390. 15% profit, maybe 20% profit. 410, let's see, 410, maybe 20% profit. Let's see, GE. Let's try to do it 410. It's getting close. 410 would be about 25% profit. Okay, so we're getting close to GE. So 410, and then this guy. No, let's see, because clock is against me, right? 250, 260 spread, we're right at 250, right? And let's look at the gamma. Is there a lot of overhead resistance? I mean, 240 was the support, right? Last time we checked. Yeah, put wall is 240. Gamma is 230. So I think 240 is now confirmed. It should give us some support, but we need to escape 250 strike, right? I mean, if we escape 250, we will go to 260. And maybe tomorrow value stocks will perform. Okay, so for now, let's, 410. We'll see if I get fill. No, not yet. Okay, so change the price to 410 on General Electric. Any questions? Trend is a friend. Trend. You guys quiet today. Discord? Anybody in Discord? No questions. Good morning, Elmar. How are you? Where's Rosser? He usually shows up. All right, let's see the rest of the positions. Thought I closed my. I did not close silver, all of it. Okay, sorry about that. $0.33. So silver, I apparently close only half of the position. Okay, so exit out silver. Supposed to do it yesterday, so okay, so I'm out of silver now completely. Let's look at the rest of the positions. So General Electric, we talked about General Electric. Sorry, Cisco, let's talk about Cisco. So Cisco is, maybe I just got filled about it. So I just got a text message, let's see. Oh, that's silver. So Cisco, 80 cents. So 1.5%. In a short period of time, I think we can close the first half at least, take the profit. $68. Let me see. Yeah, so I would take the profit in the first half. Cisco. Close it at 60. Okay. You can find it in Profit Accelerator or Elite Circle, both have it. And this is a signal from Monday, right? So I only hold, into it a couple of days. I mean, 1.5% for Cisco is pretty good. Plus you have now overhead resistance, 2 days highs. So I left half of the position. Okay, any questions on Cisco? All right, G should get filled too. Let's go G. Not yet, okay. FCX, all right, we're getting close to exit. Let's see, where's the FCX? So I still have copper. 41.96 was the high. So I'm getting close to the exit. Just want to break even. It's been a while, so I want to concentrate on momentum stocks. Talked about General Electric, JP Morgan. I did close half of the position. So I do have an order to close the rest of it. It looks like it's trying to break out, right? It broke the February highs. Day 1, day 2, we'll see. We'll see. But for now, it's continued to grind higher. So still in JP Morgan. And the other spread I have is Microsoft. So I have Cisco, General Electric, and Microsoft, 490, 480, June 16. So Microsoft, I think, is also trying to break out to all-time highs, right? So it's posting new records, 493. So at this point, I think it's in the money, right? So it's completely in the money. Now time is on my side, right? As long as it's not going lower and kind of grinds around this level, then time will kick in. And I just got filled in General Electric. Okay. So again, General Electric is a good example of that rule where you want to, if you look at these signals, right, no matter what the signals are, like for today, let's see, what are the signals? F5, PayPal, Texas Instrument, right? So we do see some semiconductors leading the market and continue to go higher. But the idea is to split the trade into two, right? So you're still risking 2.5% per position, right? Day trading should be less. It should be, I would say, less than 1% if you're doing day trading. But majority of us don't do day trading, right? You need to have $25,000. You need to be experienced. It's certain psychology. This is not for everybody. I mean, John likes to day trade, but not everybody. So if you day trade, it should be less than 1%, but still same rule applies. I would split position into two. If you hold in overnight, then 2.5% of account value, and I would split. The idea is to split it into two entries, right? If the trade goes against you, but you still think, General Electric is a good stock and this is just overreaction to the tariffs, right? Then, then at least here you're down 1% and you have to make a decision, right? Do you want to add or do you want to not? So in this case, it was the right decision. But if I was down 2.5% here or more, then I would have to exit the position because it was a pretty sharp pullback, right, for General Electric. 10% pullback. So with options, if you structure them correctly and you're not down 2.5%, then that's okay. Then you can think about it, right? I mean, it's pretty sharp pullback. So, but it recovered. All right, so I'm out on the first shares, right? Was I able to capture 70 cents? 70 cents, a little bit less than 20%. But I have the other half of the position, and if General Electric can stay above 250, at least for day one, day two, then next level is 260. So that's good. Let's continue on. Talked about G, talked about Microsoft. I think we was concentrating on Microsoft. Okay, so I bought it for $5.19, trying to get out at $6.90. 40% gain, trying to get 40%. Where is Microsoft? It continues to grind higher. We're getting close. I can get out at 650. 650 would be what, $1.30? So 30% gain, 30% gain. I mean, it's August, so time is on my side. Time is on my side. I don't need to rush through it. I think into the earnings, Microsoft will probably continue grinding higher, so we'll just wait for 690. But we're getting close. It's 650. So at this point, Microsoft is in the money, and probably 480 is your support. Let's see. Let's look at stock forecast toolbox. I assume it's now an uptrend. Yeah. So see, it's been above this breakout level for much longer period of time, right? And consolidated broke out, so it doesn't see overhead resistance, and that basically says green light, right? Green light for Microsoft. Where QQQ, you don't have a green light yet. So Microsoft gamma is 475, put wall 475, gamma is very low. So 475. I mean, there's a lot of position here, but somewhere in 475 is a put wall. Well, yeah, it's this breakout. I mean, I think 480, so that's my spread, 480, 490. I think it's pretty well supported, 480, 490 level. All right, any questions on Microsoft? I think that's it. Okay. So I'm managing now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions. So I'm managing 5 positions. Any questions? All right, let's see where the market is. What else? FedEx announced earnings. So again, fears of recession, right? Transportation is down, continues to underperform, right? Housing data. There are a lot of red flags in the economy, right? Market is kind of dismissing these red flags for now. But again, it's just a matter of game theory. When 51% of people that are trading decide that there is enough red flags, then market will roll over. But as long as it's less than 50% and there's more bulls than bears, well then they're just red flags. But FedEx is the one still struggling. After the earnings, I think Micron is tonight or tomorrow morning. No, tonight. Okay, so Micron is the next earnings, so we can take a look at that earnings. What else? Tesla pulling back again. Can't get through the 350 strike. What do we think about Tesla? Okay, slightly positive. So short term, I think Tesla is doing better. And let's look at our gamma. $317. So 320. Put wall 300. Yeah. So I mean 300 I think is aggressive. I think 320. As long as we're above 320, buyers will step in. Right. I think buyers will step in. NVIDIA all-time high, or getting close to all-time high, or a few dollars away. Microsoft, Meta, Netflix, and Dow Jones are still underperforming. Powell continues to talk. 10-year yield glued to 430. That's good for the market. Dollar is not collapsing. I guess that's also good. VIX rolling over. We had a 16 print, so no fear in the market again. Very little fear in the market. Value stocks are still underperforming. Okay. Equal weighted S&P. Is it negative equal weighted? Yeah, equal weighted S&P is rolling. I mean, it's facing overhead resistance at 180. So equal weighted S&P could not break out, at least for now, getting rejected. But QQQ is accelerating, so we'll see if QQQ can, on its own, pull the market higher. Well, the rest of the market pulls QQQ lower. I guess that's also SFRM. John, very nice trade. No questions. SMH. John is killing it. All right, very good, John. Nice trade on SMH. Okay. I'll take half the credit on that trade. You can keep the rest. Okay. What else? Earnings. Earnings. All right. Micron vertical move up, right? I think it's still doing a catch-up trade, right? Yeah, it's still doing a catch-up trade to SMH. People are pretty bullish into it. Let's see what, I mean, obviously the model says, I assume it's going to be a strong move to the upside, right? We don't need the model to tell us that it's in strong short-term uptrend. That I agree, but where's the support? So one standard deviation move, about 10%, Micron 10% move, 140 strike. Yeah, that's probably the last. I think I need to put these guys too. Let's see if it makes a difference. Yeah, 140. 140, that's close to one standard deviation, about 10%. That would imply 10% move, right? So 10% move in Micron if it does like Oracle, right? If it has earnings similar to Oracle, right, where it's a home run, and then it breaks. You have that large move to the upside. Let's see how well it does lately. So June 25th, after the market closed, last June was down 7%, down 16, down 8. It hasn't done really well in earnings. And there was one up 14%. Average move is about 10%. I mean, I don't like that it's down past 3 quarters. So that's not good. It's underperformance. So maybe, I mean, you can do calendar spreads or verticals. Do 2 verticals on both sides and see what happens. Maybe we should try that. See how well it works. You could do calendars on both sides. That also works. Calendars is probably cheapest. So Micron 140. Okay, so let's see what the 140 strike gives us. Calendar. Okay. So if you wait till next week with the calendar, that 140 strike will cost you 70 cents. Very expensive. Okay. So it has to be okay. So that's pretty expensive. Do I want to go further than 140? Probably not. 140. So 140 is the calendar, you know, a lot of, you know, high volatility. All right, if I go verticals, not verticals, let's do short puts, naked puts. 140 strike, sorry, calls, naked calls. Okay, there's no naked calls, I forgot about it. See if it has. So bullish strike 140. A cover call. Okay. So 140 call is $1.12. It's actually went up now. It's $1.20. Okay, so the spread is 70 cents. Let's do the vertical. Let's see, what about the vertical? Vertical, let's do a $5 vertical. Okay, 140, 145 is 60 cents. It's cheaper. So positive news, and I think it will gravitate toward 140. Negative will gravitate toward 115. If I do it on both sides, 60 plus 60, I would have to spend $1.20. Guess I can do 145, 140 call spread. with the idea that it's gonna move 11%. Okay, so I don't want to spend 60 cents, I'll spend 30 cents. 145, 150. Buy to open one. Limit of 32 cents. Let's see, 31 cents, 30 cents. Okay. So if you go into earnings power trader, I was able to get into basically buying 145 call, selling 145 call, able to get in at 32 cents. I mean, lately I've been selling the put spread. I'm just don't like the earnings consistency of Micron, right? Especially this guy. So I'm inclined either not do put spread, or I guess just do out, fear of missing out or fear of future regret is driving my decision. Because if it's going to go down and I don't have a spread, then I'll be upset. So if it has negative earnings, the street expects to gravitate toward 115, 120 strike. 115, 120 strike. Right, and that's where, yeah, this is a lot of support at 120. I mean, it's kind of equally distributed, right? You have all these positioning, but in terms of gamma, probably 120, 125. So let's see how much is a vertical put spread if I go to 120. Ooh, also. Well, I went to 145, that's 20. 20 is maybe 105. 110, 105. So this guy, it has to move beyond 110. Well, not 10% or 110. Yeah, 10% is about 110, 115. So 110, 105, 30 cents. Good enough. Okay. Obviously, if it kind of doesn't do anything, just consolidate, then I would lose that. And then I would lose the, well, in this case, 62 cents, right? So I'm risking 62 cents. Again, looking for these outsized returns. So in this case, I'm doing a put spread, right? Because it hasn't been, earnings consistency is probably not the best in Micron. So I'm buying a put spread. If there's a negative surprise, and based on expectation, it should get to 120, 115 strike. So this could, be significantly higher. And then 145, 150 spread. So I'm risking 60 cents, 62 cents, and the maximum profit is, $5 strike difference minus the debit, so 460, 440, right? So 440, 438, $4.38. John, positive review, been a while. Yes, nobody leaves positive review. Thank God they don't leave negative reviews. So. But okay, yes, please trust pilot. Yellow tunnel. If you guys haven't left a review for Yellow Tunnel and you think this is helping you, please leave the review. I pasted the link, John. Thank you. If it doesn't help you, just send me a personal email, vlad@yellowtunnel.com if it doesn't help you. Test. Oh, Tesla Electronics, yeah. I like to trade Tesla because I trade, you know, spreads, right? So I have a spread, and you know, it's getting to my level where I maybe want to close my short leg because I've been doing that for quite some times. But I think 320, I mean 300, 320, there is a lot of support. So I'm just waiting for Tesla to stop pulling back. I mean, it's driven by news, you know, a lot of it is news. So we'll see. I wanted to stop selling off first, but spreads definitely help. What else, John? Anyone else? Any questions? Discord, guys. All right, while you think about it, let me start sending some of the alerts. All right, so what did we do today? Let's sum it up. People often complain that I talk too fast with heavy Russian accents, so I can slow down by writing and sending emails while you guys have an opportunity to ask questions. All right, let's do this. 9, 6, 7, 2, 4, 9. All right, first let's do earnings. Right, that's the most time sensitive. Okay, so we're gonna say open Micron spread trades. Okay. Micron spread. Spreads plural. Vertical put spread. So buy to over that vertical debit put spread. Let's do that. Debit. It's easier. Put spread. So I'm going into what? June 27th. June 27th. So it's this week expiration, and I'm buying the, which put am I buying? 1 of 10. I'm buying 110 put and selling 1 of 5 put, and the current price is around 30 cents. And then I'm open KR vertical debit call spread, vertical debit call spread. And I'm buying June 27, what did I buy? 145 call. 145 call, and I'm selling June 27. So just regular verticals, right? No fancy stuff with calendars. Debit call spread, debit put spread. I have no idea which way the stock is going to go, but I think it's going to move 10%. So based on that assumption, this would be a good strategy. If the assumption is wrong, it doesn't move 10% or more, then you know my risk is 60 cents. On one contract, $60. All right. Buy to open 110, 105, buy to open 145, 150, put spread, and vertical debit calls for vertical debit put spread. And if anything, this is a good way to learn about spreads and time decay, and you know, that's why I like these earnings strategies. I mean, they're aggressive, they can yield high returns, right? But they're also is a great way to quickly learn time decay, delta, theta, you know, volatility, implied volatility, historical volatility, and all that good stuff. All right, so that's Micron. Let's see, GE. Let's put into the GE. That's dynamic power trader. Let's see, what did we do with GE? Closed half of the position. So I closed half of the position. So say close 50% of the position. So close 50% of G position. So I did sell to close 50% of G position. Current price is 410. And I did sell to close 250's call, and I did buy to close 260 spread. All right, so let's do it again. Sell to close 250, buy to close 260, and price is 410. Let's make sure I didn't make any mistakes. People get upset when I make mistakes. All right, save. All right, so you should get, you should get text message or Discord message if you sign up for Discord on Tradespoon. On the yellow tunnel, you get an email and a text message. Okay. All right. Moving on. So Micron, General Electric, what else? Silver, you should get text message. Cisco, so close half of the Cisco position. Let's broadcast. Let's see, close 50% of Cisco position. %50 of Cisco position. If you did options, 2 contracts, then I would also do the same thing with option spreads. If you have 1 contract, then I would just wait. But for the stock, I closed half, close 50% of Cisco, so to close 50% of Cisco. And best execution price. Where was it trading about? 68, 68. All right. Close 50% Cisco, sold to close. Save. Sun. Okay. All right, any questions? All these active trade open high even by opening bell. So Vanandra, are we talking about active trader, right? All the active trader. When the stocks gap up, right? You just have to be consistent. Let's do F5. Like I really like F5 signal. It's just not very liquid. People ask, well, then why do you add it to the list? Because we have different type of traders, right? All kinds of traders, And in terms of momentum, it makes sense. So F5 actually didn't gap up that much, right? Let's see. Well, actually the opposite, it went down. So F5 is fine. I don't know if all of them. Let's see, PayPal. Let's see, did PayPal gap up? Well, because tech gapped up. Let's see if PayPal gapped up. But also it gapped up, but then, so first of all, if you do an active trader, Vanandra, I would wait 15 minutes, right? Because this is aggressive short-term trading, potentially day trading. So I usually wait 15 minutes, let it to stabilize. And then if I see like here, okay, then I can get in, right? Let's say it gapped up and continue to gap up. You just want to be consistent, right? These are suggested entry price. And if you want to know what I trade, you just follow in live trading room. But some people, if it gaps up, they trade. My preference, I wait 15 minutes for stabilization. Like PayPal is stable to me. F5 is stable to me. If you still want to, if you want exposure, then this is the time I would add to these stocks. Like F5, I would not trade options because it's illiquid, right? Only 300 average volume, less than 1 million. right? I get some not so good emails about that, but again, some people ask me, why you only trade, I'm a stock trader, I don't care what the liquidity is, right? So you just, I mean, everybody have their own trading plan, right? There's no like universal trading plan. Everybody follows the same rules. Everybody's a little different. Some of the trades that John does, I would never do it, right? Because I just a lot less risk averse than he is. So hopefully that answers your question. Powell speaking again. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be anything different. You guys are active today. I like that. You're not sleeping. A lot of questions. Okay, that's good. Just need to learn to listen faster. Yes. Okay. Thanks, Avinandra. Thank you, John. You maybe do a video on open range breakout. I mean, the best videos is live trading room. So I encourage you to watch the live trading room, especially like Monday when I open some of these trades, right? I always talk about the same thing, right? So a lot of it just internalizing information, listening multiple times. We do have guides. So a lot of it, if you go to our learning center, we do have guides. So I would look at these guides. Short-term trading plan, long-term trading plan. There are some suggestions. So if you haven't read them and you're interested of how to execute the short trading plan, then that's what I would do. And this is free. You don't even have to have paid account to do that. All right, John, thank you for leaving the review. I appreciate that. Everybody else, if you have time, please leave a review if you haven't done so. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you. Thank you for participation. Nice turnout for June. I'm very excited about that. Elmar Cherry Blossom, hydrated muffin. Thank you. See you tomorrow morning, guys. Thank you.